Hi, I know I have the light on and the blinds drawn, but it's actually daytime outside as I'm recording this. I wanted to talk about being an addict as a TI. Now, as you guys can see, I am pretty big. I'm gonna toss away all the pretense for just a second. I am a targeted individual. I know that I'm going to be a targeted individual long after I stop breathing. So death isn't even going to stop me from being a TI. Once you're on that list, they don't want to get you off it because there's too much money behind it. So I make the following statements, well aware that I'm being tortured every day, both psychologically and physically. I make the statements that I make fully aware that I've been abused all my life and continue to be abused. I make these statements fully aware that I'm going through financial abuse, emotional abuse, sexual abuse, physical abuse, remotely. I make these statements fully aware of the fact that my rights are taken away. So as a disclaimer, before anybody gets in the comments and says, well, it's not your fault, you're a TR, I know that. I get it. And thank you for saying that. But I want to be vulnerable and I want to actually say how addiction makes me feel. Now, first off, I technically am a food addict. I'm an internet addict. No, not an internet addict. A media addict. And I'm also addicted to infatuation, right? So codependency. My worst nightmares have come true with regards to all of this. I'm incredibly lonely. I'm obese. And the best memories that I have of my life, none of them actually happened to me. My best memories come from TV or, the only thing to possibly match that would be the birth of my brother and sister. Those are the only real life occasions that I can think of that really meant anything to me apart from my pregnancy. But so the best memories of my life are never really mine. And I know it's because of the abuse and not because of the addiction. But the way addiction makes me feel, I hate it so much. It fucks with my sleeping patterns. My health is horrible. It's not what it could be. And it's not my looks that really bothers me. Because I know I don't look that bad. I know I don't. I might not be like the slim little thing I was anymore, but I know I don't look that bad. That's not what the issue is. The issue is that I feel like I'm not myself anymore. I haven't felt like myself for years, for decades. And myself, what even is that? What even is that? I fucking eat knowing that there's sleep deprivation. I fucking eat simple carbs to get myself to sleep at night because I know doing it the healthy way isn't gonna do it. It's not gonna knock me out in the same way that unhealthy food does. So I eat to go to sleep. I eat to relax myself when I get anxious or when I get overly excited. I think it's just anxiety, honestly. The reason why I eat is just anxiety. It's like taking drugs to help you sleep. I fucking eat to help me sleep. And then on top of that, there's the internet. I have that to try to help me sleep or to calm my anxiety down, but all it ever does is reinforce my insomnia, because the dopamine rush is continuing all the time. Every time you're on social media, there's a dopamine rush. The rush of seeing a video that relates to you, or the rush that having people respond to you, giving you attention. It's fucking with my life. It's been fucking with my life for 3.5, like this addiction to media, this addiction to fucking food. None of it is me. It feels like I'm addicted to things that are not me. And that the only reason why I use them is because I found a way to use my malaise in order to get my feelings across, so because of my addiction to food, I learned how to cook. Because of my addiction to the internet, I have learned how to communicate my feelings about being a targeted individual, and my feelings about how the abuse affects me. So my addiction to these things, whilst toxic in and of themselves, they have led to really good things. And my addiction to codependency, it's actually made me have empathy for other people. I never used to have that before. I had sure, I was very hard on myself when, other people shame me for things. I was very hard on myself, but that's not the same as having empathy. My codependence on company actually made me, it kind of forced me to be empathic with other people, especially given as I've been a TI. So my addictions have led to good places. I'm not saying they haven't. They've led to really good places in my life. I learned to fucking cook because of my addiction to food. I learned to, I have Real Justice Tarot. I have a TI channel. I have a channel for all my other business. I have a channel for my singing, all because of my addiction to social media. And yeah, like I said before, I've been learning about relationships on and off now for for decades now. I've been learning about relationships, reading about psychology, reading about star signs, parasocial stuff, right? So the addictions had a good outcome, but they are still addictions. And it still fucks with me. It fucks with me every day. People want me to feel bad about things that don't even matter, like things about how I look. They want me to feel bad about it so bad, but I've always felt bad about the way that I looked, even when I was slim. So this changes nothing. What I feel really bad about is being so out of control in my life that I needed to get really bad before I even began to make an effort to be good. I hate that I got to this point through addiction and not through being my actual self. Being a TV addict is not who Fabienne is. Fabienne is a warrior. Fabienne is a leader. Fabienne is... I'm not going to say a good person or not a good person. But Fabienne is a leader and Fabienne is a warrior. She is not a fucking TV addict. She's not a fucking overeater. People used to have to bully me into eating. This is not who I am. It's never who I've been. Like, I eat junk food, sure, but overeating is another thing entirely. This is not me. None of this is me. My addiction to media, that's just me trying to find a way to cope or trying to find a way to dissociate, because I'm being abused all the time and I need a place that I can go to in order to seek refuge when I'm being tortured all the time. I try to leave my torture out of it. I just wanted to be accountable for my shit. Like, I try to leave my torture out of it. I can't leave it out of it because it's a part of my life. Because of the way I'm being emotionally tortured and physically tortured every single fucking day, the only thing I have to do is read, watch TV, or listen to music. 9 times out of 10. If I try to do anything remotely positive for myself, I get tortured. So I'm forced to rely on going backwards and going towards the worst case scenario that they want me to be in order to climb myself back out of it again and find a way through in a way that they can't touch. But this is not me. This is not me. Having to rely on worst case scenarios to survive. Being fat to survive. Being fucking a homebody to survive. Relying on fucking parasocial relationships to survive. Relying on food addictions to survive. Making myself as invisible as I can to survive. This isn't me. But torture has led me here. Torture has led me here. Torture's led me here. And there is no getting off this train. I'm going to be tortured for the rest of my life. I worry about, because my weight is increasing, I'm worrying about how the torture, which leads to the addictions, I'm worried about how that's going to help affect my health in the long run. You can hear from the way that I speak that some of my breathing is constricted. You can hear that. You can hear that when I talk. You can hear, even though I have no problems running and jumping and running up and down, I'm still 35 years old. I'm 36 this year. I'm getting older. I don't know if the habits that I've accumulated will lead to me being diabetic or lead to me, dying before my time, Even though, again, you're a TI, this is for life, no matter what you do. I'm just saying that I'm tired of letting my addictions run my life. I'm just tired of it. I can't fucking sleep properly. Like how bad does it have to get? But where can you go as a victim of systemic torture from some black ops bullshit? Where do you go as a targeted individual for your addiction problems? For your nutritional issues, because you can't go to Overeaters Anonymous with this shit. You can't go to Overeaters Anonymous with this shit and explain to them that it's not actually me. Well, it is me. It is me. Oh no, let's be accountable. I'm an adult, okay? It is me, right? How do I explain to Overeaters Anonymous? How do I explain to, I don't know, Relationships Anonymous or whatever it is that deals with fucking infatuation bullshit? How do I deal with that? How do I deal with, I don't know, whatever anonymous there is for internet addiction? I don't fucking know, bro. How do I talk about my addiction to things that every day that people need? How do I talk about that? How do I talk about my body dysmorphia that has been with me since childhood? How do I talk about that from the lens of being a TI? Because that's at the root of everything. That is at the root of everything. Being a black woman certainly doesn't help because, the way this world represents you. But being a TI is at the root of everything that I'm going through. How do I talk about my addictions? I tried to avoid talking about my TI experiences specifically because I wanted to be vulnerable. I wanted to be accountable for what I do because I'm an adult. But how do I bring all of these things up without mentioning the fucking torture? Because one way or another, the torture is going to affect me. And don't even get me started on being addicted to anxiety. I'm addicted to anxiety too, quiet as it's kept. So when you boil all these things down, it's really just being addicted to an emotional safety blanket so that I can feel comfortable. Because what else is there when you're being tortured, literally being tortured every day? What else is there? What else is there? I don't want addiction to form my life. I learned how to cook, cool. I've made, I've made something of real justice to row, cool. I'm singing more, cool. I've even learned how to rap a little bit, cool. Drill a little bit, cool. But I don't want the negative side of the addictions to keep having an effect on my life. And I think what it really boils down to is the lack of security as well. Like, there's a lack of security to my life that's plagued me. You know, because of the TI experience, I've had to move from place to place to stay on an even keel in here. Because that's what this is really about. I'm trying to stay on an even keel in here. I'm trying to stay steady in here. Trying to find my peace in here. So it gets to a situation where, sorry, I've got a text from my friend, sorry, at the top. I'm trying to feel safe and secure in here. But sometimes in order for me to do that, I have to sacrifice external security, which means moving from place to place, which means meeting different people. But it gets really tiring. I think I want both, honestly. I think I want both. And I think my inability to have both is fucking with me and causing my addictions. I do want both. I do want emotional security and physical security. A lot of people ask me, even with everything that you go through, how are you still so confident? You know, gang stalkers can't understand it. You know, even my friends can't really understand it, like where my confidence comes from. It comes from moving all the time. It comes from never staying long enough somewhere to drive me crazy. It comes from never really staying long enough to, to have an adverse effect on me. It comes from traveling all the time. It comes from meeting different people. It comes from meeting all kinds of people. It comes from, never really having any safety or stability in my home situation. And when you deal with moving from place to place all the time, it does give you a certain amount of emotional resilience in a way that other people don't have. I'm sorry, it does. And many of my friends and loved ones, since I've been here, have been the kind of people who travel all the time. We get each other. But only with me, it's a situation that I was forced into. It's not something that I wanted. I wanted to be emotionally secure, or at least I thought I wanted that. But what I really wanted was a way for me to feel safe in my home. I wanted to feel safe in my home. But knowing my situation never lasts long. At the root of my addiction is wanting to feel both emotionally and physically secure, but then I'm not blowing anyone's minds by telling you guys that. I'm not blowing anyone's minds by telling you that. But you're never secure when you're always in pain. And when you're always in pain, all you can think about is the pain, so you try to find ways to make it stop. The addiction is a natural biological response to the trauma that's sustained throughout your life. And everyone gets addicted to something. And I think that my thing is simply everyday pleasures. It's not like drugs or, you know, the only drugs I really take are cannabis. That's the only ones that I'm really interested in. Somebody else talked about mushrooms. You know, I don't know. Drugs has never really been my thing. You know. Drinks never been my thing either. I'm going to be real with you. I just don't like the fucking taste, bro. It's like, I can't take the fucking taste. Like, most of the alcohol that I've ever tasted in my life tastes like absolute shit. Like, it has to be really expensive for me to enjoy it. I am such an alcohol snob. You wouldn't believe it. It has to be relatively expensive for me to enjoy it. I can't enjoy no cheap shit. So with alcohol, I can't enjoy anything cheap. You know, it's not that I haven't done it. It's just that I can't enjoy anything cheap, which is I can't get into drink like that. Another thing I can't get into like that is drugs. Like, again, the smokest shit, the strongest shit I've ever smoked is like marijuana. No, tell a lie, skunk. And even then, with skunk, I never touched it again. I couldn't do it. I could not do it. So for me, I'm not addicted to like big highs. I'm addicted to the little ones. I'm addicted to the little moments of happiness. That's what I'm addicted to. It's the breathers that I'm addicted to. It's the feeling of getting a breather from the everyday abuse that I suffer every day. And, you know, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't really ask for much. Now that I think about it, I don't ask for much. I'm addicted to the feeling you get from having a breather. It's not really the big shit that I'm attracted to. The only thing that I could say is like big shit is like the codependency thing or the addiction to infatuation. But even then you need relationships. You need social media. You need food. Maybe you don't need social media as much as the other two, but you need those things. I'm addicted to basic things that I need because I didn't get it in the way that I was supposed to get it. It always came with a price. Always came with, you have to act normal, even when you're sick, even when there's something wrong with you. When it comes to the little pleasures in life, there was always a ransom to it. I will give you this if you mask your psychological injuries that I caused you. Everything that I've ever wanted in my life, it came with a ransom. You have to mask the psychological injuries that we put on you. In order for us to support you, you have to ignore that and you have to put that aside. It's the same thing. It's the same thing with the government, with TIs and the government. We can give you a certain amount of freedom. We will give you like about half of what a normal citizen gets. But even then, you have to act like you're not, your psychological injuries aren't real. You have to act like your psychological injuries aren't real. You have to act like we didn't cause them, otherwise we'll lock you up. Or kick you out. Or do some other shit. Always comes with a ransom. In any form of abuse, the thing that, getting a breather, like I'm addicted to getting a breather. Like chasing that euphoric high we get addicted to these things because in one way or another we are denied our emotions. And we're denied the opportunity to say, you know what, this shit is causing me psychological injury, because either we're peer pressured into not saying anything, with regards to targeted individuals. Whenever we cry about an issue, whenever we show upset about an issue, we get gang stalkers kind of compounding on that and kind of gloating about the fact that we're crying or angry or something like that. So they kind of gloat about it in order to compound upon causing you more and more stress. So that in and of itself is a peer pressure not to express what's really going on as a TI. Is because they'll kind of keep it on a loop. So say you get angry, they'll gloat about you being angry, which makes you angrier. So the whole point is to incite you towards violence, or to incite you towards suicide, or to incite you towards any behavior that will get you institutionalized, where they can keep a closer eye on you, where they can continue to experiment with electronic weapons in terms of behavioral control. So that in and of itself is kind of a peer pressure on a lot of TIs, or on a lot of people who are marginalized. That in itself is peer pressure to sort of remain calm, maintain. It's a lot of pressure. So not only do you get psychologically injured as a result of being marginalized repeatedly, you have to conceal that psychological injury from the people that caused it in order for them not to do something worse. Mate, that's just the psychological stuff, let alone the physical shit. Let alone the physical shit. You're going through all this pain every single day. You're going through hip pain. You're going through elbow pain. You're going through electronic weaponry eroding your body. You don't know who the fuck's doing it. You don't know who the fuck's doing it. Because, the perps gaslighting you might not necessarily be the perps that are injuring you. They literally have to be in your face fucking talking shit before you get it. Or they can have a certain type of body language that kind of reveals that they're the ones doing it. Sometimes you can just tell, but, with regard to electronic torture, it could be literally anybody from a fucking mile radius, or even a 5 mile radius, that's firing the fucking weapons on you, and you don't know. And on top of that, it's increasingly automated. You don't know who the fuck is doing it to you. And, you have to consider that every time when you go out into the street, there's always someone clicking a button or pressing a button to let somebody know where you are, or to engage the electronic torture. There's always somebody walking up and down the street on top of people in their houses firing electronic weapons at you. That's what I'm saying. You can't keep a track of who it is because everything is automated and remote. So you can't keep a track of who's doing it to you. And then when the symptoms cause you so much pain, all you can do is scream for hours on end. The doctors minimize your injuries. They lie. And you can't talk about any of that, or at least I can, because I know what I'm doing. Okay? But the majority of TIs can't talk about that shit. And increasingly, healthcare is being privatized. We can't get access to our scans because, listen, I'm trying to get my NHS paperwork done right now. They don't allow your scans. They don't allow your scans. They don't allow copies of your scans to be given to you. They're your scans and they don't allow it. But they can sell it on though. They can sell those injuries on though. But they can't give you your results. Look online if you don't believe me. They don't give scans out. They don't give x-rays out. They don't give none of that out anymore. They don't give none of that out. The last time I had an x-ray, I had to pay for it. I had to pay for mine from the dentist. So on top of that, you're going through all this pain and they stay lying. Not only do they stay lying, but they conceal the results of your shit. And once again, you have to play nice because you're the one who needs help. You're the one who needs medical care. You're the one who needs to be taken care of. You're the one who's sick. So you got to put yourself in a situation where you are calm, where you are reasonable to deal with doctors and nurses that are taught absolutely dick about proper healthcare. And you have to appeal to them. You have to appeal to people in authority. You have to be the calm one. You have to be the reasonable one. Not to hurt their little feelings. It is so much to deal with. It is so much to deal with. It, like, thinking about it now, it just makes my food addiction and my social media addiction seem fucking ridiculous in comparison. It just seems ridiculous. The only thing that might be dangerous is my addiction to parasocial relationships. That can be dangerous because it can lead me into situations where I'm idolizing people based on what they present and based on my idea of who they could be and not who they actually are. And shit like that can be more dangerous than you think it is. First of all, it leads to a direct violation of somebody's boundaries. In my case, like just talking to them when they didn't want me to talk to them, or like trying to emotionally blackmail them into fucking caring about me and shit. Like, just like your addiction to parasocial relationships and infatuation with, infatuation and shit like that, it can lead to really dangerous places when you're not careful. It can. That's the only thing that really worries me. But I'm keeping a lid on that. I mean, I know who I am and I know what my impulses are. So if I feel anything getting to that level, I just kill it. I just fucking kill it. Because I ain't got time and people deserve better than that. So it's just... That's the only addiction that could get dangerous. But then again, I have like quite a bit of control over that. So that's good. That's good at least. It doesn't lead to a situation where, it could be, detriment to somebody's health or what have you. I have control over it, so it's good. But I'm not going to lie, that could be dangerous if you really don't know yourself and don't know who you are. But given everything that I've been through, even the stuff that I have done, it just seems ridiculous in comparison to what's actually happening to me. It just seems fucking ridiculous. And the things that I'm being criticized for with regards to, now that I think about it, it just seems so stupid. It just seems so stupid to me now. Thinking about the things that I'm getting criticized over, like in street theatre, and it just seems ridiculous now. It just seems really ridiculous. At the time, it's not ridiculous because it's like constantly needling you for attention. That's the thing that really gets you. It's constantly needling you for attention and needling you for negative attention. That's the thing that really gets you. But now that I'm talking about what I go through, it just seems my addiction. It makes my addictions look ridiculous. It makes the criticisms of me look ridiculous. Like, some of them are valid, but it's still ridiculous in comparison to what I actually go through. I've been really bad, don't get me wrong. I've been bad, but I should have been a lot worse by now. I should have been so much worse by now. So I came on here to talk about my addictions, but it just turned into a whole different video. Where for the most part I was just talking about the torture and how it affected me, and how it affected my addiction levels. But yeah, my addictions have led to good places. Like I said before, I learned to cook. I've been forced to empathize with people. So sometimes even when I don't want to, and the addiction to social media, it led to me, basically legitimizing my hobbies and giving myself the potential to actually earn money from them. So my addictions have led to good places, but it's still messing with me. And it's still making me really worried about my health and my life. And I'm not getting any younger. I already feel like a 55-year-old already. I feel fucking stretched thin because of all this. But I do get worried about my health sometimes. I know death comes for all of us. It's really weird that I'm not scared of death, but I'm scared of my health. I'm not scared of death, but I'm scared of how it happens. It's weird. It's like, I don't know. All the kamikaze things, all the foolhardy things that I've ever done. It's not because I'm scared, it's because just get it over with, man. If something bad's gonna happen, let it just happen. Get it over with. That's what the torture does to you. And the addictions, fucking hell, I know they're minor, but I'd just rather not be addicted at all. I'd rather have a healthy lifestyle. I'd rather work than, having to be on benefits. I don't really want to work for people, because I feel like if I'm going to work, I should work for a healthy amount of money that's actually going to help me live. But I never wanted to be on benefits like this all the time. I wanted to work. I wanted to be normal, but I guess that was never on the cards for me, was it? Anyway, I love you guys. Thank you for listening to me. I know it was a long video to listen to. If you didn't listen to it the whole way, I understand. No judgments here, man. This is a lot of rambling, a lot of thinking out loud. So if you guys don't stick around for the whole video, I get it. If you have done up to this point, thank you. I love you guys. Take care of yourselves and stay blessed. I love you guys. Bye.